Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to the Streakers Island podcast at not quite night, but too early to be the afternoon, and it's certainly not the morning. It is I, Jacob
It's
Moore.
a word called evening.
You're an evening sports analyst. As you can
Big
see, I've
evening,
not
boys.
had
Big
time
evening.
to go get my $12 haircut. I still think I look pretty good looking, but not as dashing as Lane Dashing Dashko. I did not go with the hat look like Chazzy the CEO and Dan More for your money.
Woo!
But I like to show off the luscious hair before I get it cut off, right? So then everyone's like, what just happened?
Game day hair.
It is game. You know what? Maybe I just won't get a haircut until the Leafs get eliminated from the playoffs or win the cup. I'll just let it grow out. So I may either be getting a haircut by the weekend or letting it grow for another couple weeks.
There you go. Yeah.
Might be a few more years until I get a cup.
I'm at the cup this year. No, I'm not going to leave my hair. Can you imagine if someone back in like 68 said, I'm not going to cut my hair until the Leafs win another cup?
You'd be like the next
More hair than
Sasquatch.
body.
You wouldn't be able to find them. It would just be hair on hair on hair on hair on hair on
Like
hair.
that dude from the Addams Family.
Cousin it.
Yeah, that's it. Cousin it.
But, it is this is the pregame show. We got a couple games on tonight, which is the Leafs versus the Panthers and the Oilers versus the Golden Knights. Huge game for the Golden Knights. I mean, if they don't win this game, they're done.
Wow.
I think that's fair to say, because it literally is fair to say, because if they lose, they're out.
That's true.
But I would almost argue it's a bigger game between the Leafs and Panthers, because whoever wins this game controls the series. When a series is tied to going into the game 5, you have I think it was like a 76% chance of winning the series if you win game 5.
Makes
So
sense.
more than likely, if you win game 5, you win the series.
Game 5 is the most important game in the series, I would say.
Dan, thank you for letting everyone know in the comment section. It's called an evening.
Yes, exactly.
Good evening.
But when we're looking here for some lineup notes, Evan Rodriguez is out of the lineup for the Panthers with an injury, so it's just for Bratt coming in for the lines.
For what?
Just for Bratt.
Oh, boy, okay. I said Bubwat.
That was Broquist, I'm pretty sure.
Actually, no, I believe it is. Yeah, it is Broquist. Sorry, which I apologize. Which is very strange. You don't play him all series, and Alex is saying good morning. Good morning to you, Mr. Alex.
Nice.
Good morning.
Maybe he's in Australia or something.
You know what it is? He probably just got the kids down after getting them a nice meal, and now he's like, it's morning to me. But
Exactly.
one thing I'm surprised with the Panthers lineup before we get into the Leafs lineup, so it's going to take us a lot longer. So you have a guy who hasn't played in this series, and screw it, let's just put him on the top line.
Was he there during the year?
I don't believe so. I mean, Rodriguez is a tough shoes to fill, and Alex heading down for the tailgating again.
Ooh.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
He's gonna party like it's 1967.
I like it.
I wonder what parties were like back then.
Probably
Alex
a little bit of
is gonna tell
marijuana.
But when we look at this Florida lineup here, I mean, this is kind of everything to be expected. Barkov, he's fine. There was somebody like, oh, Barkov's injured. No, he's not. He's fine. And the defense for the Panthers, exactly the same what it's been besides a game 1. Aaron Ekblad has not yet gotten suspended in this series, so he's doing very well. He's behaving.
Rodriguez was the one that was called for embellishment, no? Game 1?
Yeah.
So is this a lingering injury from that penalty?
He took a pretty big hit from OEL last game.
Yeah, OEL has a physical side to him everyone forgets about.
Now
You guys are saying you could see him out of the lineup tonight?
That's what a beautiful segue. The Leafs lineup is where it gets very confusing. So by Daily Faceoff, last updated on May 14th at 12:55 by Mark Masters, apparently. Good for you, Mark. I'm very proud of you. These are the lines that we saw heading into game 4. Now, there's a lot of speculation and rumors that Kemp and Robertson are coming in. Holmberg and Yarncroke are coming out.
That's stupid.
It isn't. Why is that stupid?
I think Youngquo's been playing very well. And he's like fast. He can really skate. He's a good forechecker. I mean, the only reason why he's not getting the points was because the year where he got the 20 goals with the Maple Leafs, he played with JT at 6. And now he got patches up there, right? So I wouldn't fault Youngquo on not getting points. And, Holberg has been playing well too. And it's a tied series. There's no reason to hit the panic button quite yet. I would say if they were down 3-2, sir, make a lineup change. Right now, I
think Berube potentially is making the lineup changes so we don't get to a 3-2 situation. Yeah. And looking at it here, Järnkrok has had a kind of a nothing series. He's only had 3 shots this series. His shifts went down quite a bit in the last game, down only 17 shifts and only just under 11 minutes of ice time. So I'm thinking with Järnkrok, it's just, I think the fourth line has not been as effective this series as it was against Ottawa, and they're looking for a spark. And David Kemp brings in that spark, could potentially bring in that spark. He's a very good bottom 6 forward. And I think there's a good chance you're seeing Nicholas Robertson moved up to that second line, the third line, which are for some reason the fourth line on daily faceoff. I think you're going to see Robertson playing of Domi and McMahon. If you guys remember, this was a line that was electric out for a stretch in the regular season.
That's right, yes.
Dan, just as a heads up, your telephone is way too close to the mic and it's making a buzzing noise. Please remove the phone at your earliest convenience.
It's nowhere near the mic, but okay.
Well, as soon as you move it, it's no longer making that noise. Thank you for shopping with StreamYard. Which we are not sponsored by StreamYard. But StreamYard, we're good-looking people. We have Lane Dashing Dash Co. Sponsor us if you feel like it. But there's going to be some major changes there could be some major changes in the Leafs lineup and potentially too on the defense. Now, there's been OEL did not practice due to an illness, with Hakanpää taking his spot with Benoit. Hakanpää. Yes, Mr. Hakanpää. There is a good chance Hakanpää draws into the lineup, which I'll be honest, that makes me a little uneasy.
No.
He hasn't played in months.
That's fine.
That's not going to be easy.
It's true.
What are your guys' thoughts?
I'm okay with Hakanpää coming in the lineup. I hope OEL is okay, because I think OEL has made a big difference this series. He's made a couple of nice stretch passes. He's been very physical. Like I said earlier, everyone forgets how physical OEL is. He has a good shot from the point, and he's doing all this with very limited ice time. So I hope he's okay at play.
I'm not saying I hope he's hurt, but I mean he has struggled a bit the last couple games. So I wouldn't be shocked to see Hakanpää come into the lineup, or maybe Philip Myers, just to try to bring in a change. I don't think they'll change the defense unless they have to. I think it's more the forward group that's been the issue. And I don't know. We haven't heard anything about starting goaltenders, I don't believe. Again, I would assume it's Joseph Woll.
You
but
have to get
waiting
after that performance in game 4. He was incredible.
Yeah, but as you would always go, he didn't get the win.
Yeah, but it wasn't his fault for once.
Lane, how are you feeling about going into tonight?
Honestly, so that's what I was going to ask you guys. Like, do you think this is weird? This kind of like how Paul Maurice has just kind of announced the lineup, just like, this is it. You got Craig Berube kind of playing like, call it like putting like his hands up on poker and saying like, well, call my bluff, and there might not be any lineup changes. Like, we don't know. He had Stolarz in the starting in a regular jersey, and everyone's like, I'm pretty sure he's hurt, but like he's just playing a lot of checkers today, and I'm not sure how I feel about that going into Game 6 if he's trying to catch up in this mental game of having this home ice and trying to catch the Panthers off guard somehow.
See, I like this is what he's doing. I don't understand why teams are giving people your lineup early. Make it harder for Florida to game plan. So now Florida might be game planning for all these rumored line changes, but everybody just goes, I'm not making a change. Screw it. Austin Matthews, healthy scratch. I'm kidding.
Whoa.
Austin Matthews would definitely not be a healthy scratch. But
I gotta say, with this series in general, between Berube and Maurice is probably the best coaching battle of the playoffs. These two are veteran coaches that both won their cups. They both have experience in Maple Leaf Land. They know what it's like, and we're probably the two best coaches in the playoffs left in it.
Like, did Berube do these games when he was in St. Louis when he went on that cup run?
Yes,
Oh, he did.
he did.
So
This is something Berube's done before.
Okay.
So I'm not totally shocked that he's doing it now. And I mean, realistically, I think you got to give yourself any advantage you physically can, right?
100%.
But why bring in Hakanpää if he hasn't played in a month?
If OEL's sick, if the thing is, if OEL is injured or sick because he didn't practice, right, due to an illness. So if he's not good to go, let's say he's puking his guts out, you don't put him out on the ice unless you want him to puke on the Panthers bench. Maybe that's a strategy. But
Michael Jordan scored 50 when he was sick.
Hawk, I'm just gonna say this. I'm sorry though. Hockey and basketball are two different levels. It's the same thing, and I see all these people saying, "Oh, NBA players could play in the NFL." No, they couldn't. They couldn't even play flag football with these guys. Like they're not comparable sports.
You're bringing in a guy that you're telling me hasn't played all year against Florida.
If I mean, personally, I would actually put in Philip. If I needed to bring up a guy, it would be Philip Myers, not Hakanpää. But because at least Philip Myers has been playing this year, but Hakanpää's got playoff experience. So I hope there's no changes to the Leafs defense, because I think the Leafs defense, as much as OEL had the odd bad shift, I think overall the defense has not been the issue.
I agree, yeah.
So how nervous are we all tonight? I mean, I'm sure Chazzy's just thrilled.
I'm just going to enjoy the entertainment. So. And I'm going to sleep very well, win or lose.
But
I'm going Panthers. Like I said earlier, you poke the bear. I think you're going to see an aggressive Panthers. Yes, we don't even know what Leafs we're going to see. They're going to be amped, but is that a good amp when you're at home, or where you're flat-footed, or are you going to come out and match Florida's energy? So we'll see.
Honestly, I think Florida could end up getting away from their game, just trying to mess around and find out, as the edited version of that saying goes.
Yeah, with finding the puck at the back of the net.
Oh,
we will see. But I am going to, again, for anyone who hasn't been on yet, jump into our sports booth on the island. And I posted a screenshot of some of the props. There's more props. I just couldn't fit them all on the screen. So I want to go over some of these props with you boys tonight. Is Max Domi, is he going to register a point tonight? This could be a big game for the third line. The Leafs really need to find scoring somewhere. So is Max Domi going to be one of the guys that helps out? Lane, you're saying yes?
I think so, yeah. I think I could see a depth point for Max Domi. We talked about, like you said, it's a big game for him. You know, all the pressure is going to be on those top lines like Matthews and Willie to provide. So you're going to get probably the worst matchups against when you're versus Domi. And I could see Domi getting like a point, pitching in there an assist or something on the third or fourth lines.
So Lane's giving Domi a point. Dan?
Yes.
Will there be a goal scored within the first 5 minutes of the second period?
I'm really saying no, because all the fans are still up getting for beers and everything in the ACC in the beginning. Is pretty quiet beginning. So I think, I say no.
Okay, so Chazzy, do you see Mitch Marner getting at least 2 assists? You gave him a tough prop tonight. Mitch Marner's been kind of, I'll be honest, a little invisible this series. Is he finding a way to get back in it?
I think Mitchie Marner is going to shoot the puck tonight, because what he's got, 1 or 2 shots in the last 4 games, and you've lost the last 2. So I could see him shooting a lot more. But I do think that you might have woken playoff Bob up. So I don't know how – is there going to be a lot of scoring is the next question.
I'm not that concerned about playoff Bob, just because I don't feel he was stupidly tested the last game.
True.
And Marner does not have a shot since game 3.
Yeah, okay.
Where he had 1 shot that went in. Like Marner, okay, so it's weird when as I say Marner's been a little quiet, then you look statistically, and it's not terrible. You know, he had an assist in game 1, a goal in game 2, 2 assists in game 3, nothing in game 4. But I am expecting more from Mitch Marner.
Yeah, he does a lot of those little things right.
Yeah, but I mean, that's not what he's paid to do. He's paid to put points on the board. And I don't feel 12 points in 10 games is anything. It's a point per game pace, but it's nothing
Didn't you just have 100 points for the first time?
102 in the regular season. I don't. So here's the thing. Before I get into my prop, I'm going to talk about. I could care two bleeps less about regular season success right now. Matty Knights got 29 goals in the regular season. I don't care. Mitch Marner, 102 points. Don't care. Anthony Stolar is one of the best save percentages. Don't care. I don't care. All I care about is playoff success.
Yeah.
So mind you, this is a way better playoffs than he's had in other years past. But this is about a pace for an 84-point season, roughly. So you're telling me dropping anywhere from about 16 to 12 points less in an 82-game season pace is good enough in the playoffs? No, you should be stepping it up.
Your math's not quite accurate there, bud.
Oh, I'm not using a calculator, so I don't really give two hoots.
All right, this morning.
But the prop that I'm going into here is about William Nylander, who, by the way, has got 15 points in 10 games. You might say, "Oh, that's only 3 more points," but that's 3 more points.
How many goals does he have?
6 goals, 9 assists.
Wow.
Also, too, William Nylander has registered at least 2 shots in every game in this series. He's been shoot the puck.
Interesting. Yeah.
I mean, I'm expecting his minutes to go up quite a bit in this game. I think he got to ride William Nylander, the hot hand, and finding. Oh, Lane has put in the chat for us, by the way. Robertson in, along with Kempf, Joseph Woll, the starter. Look at Lane.
Oh, I forgot about for chat.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm just refreshing X while we're talking. While you guys were talking, I wanted to see if because I know pregame's coming, so I'm wondering if we're gonna get the lineup. And I saw fans taking photos of David Camp and Nick Robertson. They are indeed on the lineup, and they are indeed in the game tonight. And Joseph Woll out the team, which means Joseph Woll is the starter, and of course Stolarz is out. So there you go. There's your lineup. We'll see what the lineups. They haven't announced what the actual lines will be, but I'm assuming we can get into that in a few minutes.
What are your assumptions? Where are those guys going to be fit in? Is that a third or fourth line?
Yeah.
Well, I imagine that Robertson will play with McMahon and Domi again.
Probably, but I won't be shocked if the top line, if the second line or top line's not going. You may see the odd shift where Robertson gets thrown up with the top 6 guys just to add some speed. Because Pacioretty, I get he's had a really good playoff run. Don't get me wrong. But he's also one of the slowest guys on the ice. I mean, plays with John Tavares, who's also one of the slowest guys on the ice. Maybe they think to give William Nylander, get him a guy with a bit more gas, someone that's got a bit more speed. That could make a big difference. But I do think to get quickly back, I think William Nylander will register at least 2 points tonight. I think for the Leafs to win, it's going to be a big game for him. Remember, too, there are more props in the Streakers app under the Streakers Island Podcast Sports booth. So make sure you're checking that out. It's really cool how we can engage with you guys on props. Different than any other show, different than any other app. But I am looking, and I do think that realistically, I would put Robertson on the 3rd, Kempf on the 4th. And heck, maybe you flip Domi and Lawton. Maybe you put Lawton on the 3rd line to play on that line.
And there's the just official, just so people don't think we're making it up. There's the official announcement. There's the official announcement from Jonas Siegel on X, as we like to call it nowadays. Nick Robertson and David Camp are joining the Leafs lineup. Cal Yarncroc and Pontus Holmberg are out of the lineup.
I think that's the right call, though. I think this is a good time to make these changes. You know, the lines have not been producing the way they were against Ottawa, right? And against Ottawa, the big thing was we were getting scoring from all 4 lines, and this time we're not. I wouldn't. So let's actually look at the Leafs lines again from last game. I'll put them back on the screen for you boys because I'm a very, very nice person. Okay,
you are, yeah.
I wonder if they've updated it.
I like that feature.
They have not updated on Daily Faceoff yet because I don't think they know what the lines are exactly yet. But so here's what I'm saying to make things even a little more different. Put Lawton on the line with McMahon and Domi.
Wow.
Have Kempf center the 4th line with Lorentz and Robertson. We've had moments where we've done that.
Yeah.
And they've had some success.
That's right.
So time will tell, obviously, because I mean we're gonna know the lines at some point. As long as they don't put Alex Nylander on the sheet instead of Willie Nylander, we're in good shape.
Yeah, exactly.
But Dan, when you're looking at this, so you know now your least favorite player in Leaf history, Nick Robertson, is in the lineup tonight. So where does he fit for you?
Well, the only place that makes sense if you're going to put him in is with McMahon and Domi because of the success they have in the regular season, right? And I'm not saying Robinson's the worst player ever. Like, he did have his moments. I don't know. I was just expecting more from him at this point of his career. Like, he had 15 goals as his career high, I get that, but he only had 7 assists. He gets knocked down every 30 seconds.
But he gets back up again. Hey, never going to keep him down.
And I would be scared putting a guy like Robertson in a game like this because, like Chazzy said, is poking the bear. Now, I think
poking the bear changing her lineup.
No.
I think it'd be poking the bear more if they put Ryan Reeves in, saying like, "Look, we're ready for a fight." I think this is.
I think he's saying physicality. Physicality.
That's what I'm trying to say, right? I'm trying to say Nick Robinson against Matthew Tkachuk and Brad Marchand and Sam Bennett, good old boys, is a really easy target. And I'm just saying for his own safety, I wouldn't put him in the lineup. I mean, you know, I think Chazzy's right. I think this game 5 is going to be different than the other games in the series. The other game in the series, like, you can tell they disliked each other. By the end of game 4, we really started hating each other again. And I think we're going to see that hatred carry on to game 5. Now, what I don't agree with Chazzy, though, is I think this is an advantage for Toronto, not a disadvantage. I know Chazzy sees it as an advantage for Florida. I think it's a huge advantage for Toronto because I think Florida is going to start off the game really stupid, poking the bear. I'm going to get caught in a whole bunch of penalty problems. I really compare it to like the Four Nations. In the Four Nations, we saw Sam Bennett and Tkachuk drop the gloves. And yeah, it was a legendary moment. But let's be honest, it benefited Team Canada the most.
So it looks like here Lane, sorry to interrupt you, but it looks like Lane has found the lines.
Wow.
What a researcher.
Lane's an amazing human being.
I wanted to find it. I wanted to see if we could go.
Yeah.
So it looks like
the OEL is in the lineup.
Yeah, so it looks like it's going to be Matthew Nyes, Matthews Marner, which we maybe you'll see change throughout the game. Still got patches with Tavares and Nylander. Then we got Bobby McMahon, Domi, Robertson on that third line. The fourth line will be Lawton on the wing. That's interesting. David Comp down the middle with Steven Lorentz. Looks like all three centers on that fourth line there.
Now, I do remember Scott Lawton has played wing in junior. And I think that's the thing why if you're going to put a center on the wing, Lawton's even done it for the Leafs in this season. Actually, he had a lot of success playing with Domi and McMahon.
Steve Lawrence is a left winger, isn't he?
He played center as well.
Oh, I didn't know about it. Okay.
Well, now you know.
And then you got your D-cores of the D looks untouched, Riley Carlo, McCabe Tanev, Benoit OEL, and then your goalies, of course, are Joseph Wall and Matt Murray. And there's
Murray. Ooh.
So there's your lineup for the game. I really wanted to find it so we could go over it.
And what I like about bringing in Nick Robertson is every time he was pulled out of the lineup, when he got back in the lineup, he impacted it. Right? It's not like he's a guy that seems to be able to make a difference when he comes in and out of the lineup. And you even remember, too, he's a guy on the third line that doesn't need a crazy amount of minutes to make an impact offensively.
Right.
And I think when you talk about, sending messages and everything, I personally feel it would have been a bigger issue if Toronto brought in someone like Ryan Reeves. Because to me, that's just telling everyone we're ready for a fight and we have changed the way we're going to play. Bringing in Nick Robertson doesn't really, to me, look like we're making a change of our playing style, right? He's not a physical guy. He's a guy with higher end skill who can score, which is what they're looking for going into this game. They need to find guys that can make an impact on offense because let's be honest, the last game, the offense struggled to get shots on net. And Nick Robertson in minimal ice time will get you goals. You look this year with 15 goals. I was only playing 12 minutes a game. He managed to put in 15 goals.
In 65 games, though.
69 games, funny number. And out of those 15, 3 of them were game winners. He also is a guy you can put on your second power play unit who's got a really good shot off the flank. So bringing in
What's
Nick
a flank?
Robertson off to the side, high board position, the bumper position, if you will.
I figured it's what you meant. I never heard that term. Interesting.
You can walk the plank because you don't know the flank.
I know the flank. Yeah, I'm learning all kinds of new things this episode.
But I look at this and I think with Nick Robertson, and if you look in the playoffs as well, and I get you're going to say, oh, we didn't have anything this year, but he has been able to be effective in minimal ice time. Right? So he's a guy that can score without needing to eat up a lot of minutes, and he's someone you can move up and down your lineup. I actually like bringing Robertson in now. I think this is the right time to bring him back in.
I totally disagree with you, but you make some good points.
Who's the coach?
Not
Craig
you.
Berube.
Well, none of us, but Craig Berube is. And Berube's doing this for a reason. For all we know, maybe Jan Crow could be a little banged up. We don't know.
Well, he just came off the career, like he missed almost the whole season, right? So,
And I'm gonna keep it a buck when I say this too. I think Holmberg has been almost invisible this series.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
has not been great.
Like Alex would pointed that out too. A few.
that's
lives
right, he did.
when he mentioned, hey, maybe it's time to bring Holmberg out and bring Robertson in, and then Dan freaked out. But like Holmberg has 1 assist in 10 games. He was a -2 in game 3 as well. And game 4, he only played 8 minutes and 36 seconds. So clearly Berube was not happy with Holmberg's game.
Right.
Game 3 played 18 minutes. Now, mind you, I do get that was an overtime game, but still. And if you look his minutes at 8:36, only 11 shifts, he's getting the least amount of minutes out of the bottom 6 guys. So that tells me there's something in the game he's not liking. Holmberg is a frustrating player because he can be very effective.
Oh, yeah. He has some offensive abilities people don't know about.
And he's 6 feet, 200 pounds. If he realized he was bigger than some of the guys on the ice and used his size the way Matty Nyes does, he's got good hands. He's a talented player.
Definitely.
Very good 6th round pick for Toronto. Just fun fact there. He's picked in the 6th round. And I mean, Holmberg, I don't feel he had a great season either with 7 goals, 12 assists for 19 points. So
He was another one I was expecting more out of him.
But you go on and on about Robertson. Robertson was more effective than Holmberg.
He was, yep, I got that.
While playing less minutes per game, mind you, too. Because
Yeah.
Holmberg plays 12:40. Robertson was only getting around 10.
How many
He's-
guys did Holmberg play?
Holmberg is averaging 12:40 a game. Robertson was
No,
around
how many games?
68. Not as
Okay,
funny as a
about the
number.
same, yeah.
But so now that we know the lines, how are we feeling?
I mean, it's still all at the end of the day, all the pressure's on Toronto, right? Like, Florida loses. I don't think there's any pressure, to be honest.
Oh, I think there's huge pressure. If you're the team that finally lets Toronto get past the second round, you're going to be the butt end of the joke for years. You brought in Brad Marchand, the Leaf killer. If you lose, yeah, I think they'll be the butt end of the joke for a long, long time. Look
Here's
how
why I
long Tampa was the butt end of the joke for a couple of years after Toronto finally beat them.
Yeah. Here's why I don't think that there's a lot of pressure, though. Like, I feel like, Florida feels like they could probably go home, win, and then, game 7 in Toronto looks like they'll never win a game 7 until the end of time. So I feel like if you're Florida, you're like, yeah, we'd like to win tonight and go home and win it in 6. But I feel like if you lose, you still got your home game in 6, and then if that ever gets to a game 7, that noise is going to be so loud in that dressing room about all the game 7s, all the failures. That's going to be such an advantage for Florida if it ever does get to that point.
I maybe with a different coach team. I don't know about the way the Leafs are coached now, right? Like the Leafs are coached in a very different way than they were a couple years ago, where they are able to block out the noise a lot more than they did before.
Like what Jacob's literally trying to do to me, block out my noise.
No, Dan, your mic's the one that's buzzing, so I think you need to unplug and replug your microphone in.
Okay. How do I do that?
Just unplug it from the computer. I will mute your mic while you do that. But this is live. This is live shows, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
But Chazzy, I want to ask you then, as I feel you're the non-Leaf fan out of the group. So, Dan, hold on a second. How are you feeling looking at the Leafs lines? Do you like these changes, or do you dislike them?
Oh, I'd go off you. I'm hearing what you guys have the expertise. You guys have been following the lines through the year. You know what's working, what hasn't worked. Like you said, there has to be a reasoning behind this. Maybe Berube's going with a little bit of a faster approach, bringing Robertson in, switching things up. That's all I could see from his strategy. But any which way, I think if Florida loses this, I don't think they panic. They know that they have a good chance of winning, and then you roll the dice in 7. If they win this, I don't know. Game 6 is talk about pressure on the Leafs, and you got to win in Florida. So,
Dan, your mic's not buzzing now, so I think you're good. I think your cable is just leaning in a weird way.
Well, it's weird because it was fine before we went live.
Yep, these things happen, no big deal. But when I look at when I look at the Leafs lineup, I like the changes. And you guys to say there's no pressure on Florida, I don't. It's kind of like when people kept saying there's no pressure on the Blue Bombers in the CFL. They've already been to the Grey Cup so many times. If you lose to you know what, you've been to the Stanley Cup Finals 2 years in a row. Losing to the Toronto Maple Leafs afterwards is not really the way you want to go out. I think you want to get it, and it's been a weird curse of recent teams that have won the Stanley Cup. They have not gone very far the following year. So I think there's pressure on Florida. Just like people said, oh, there's no pressure on Dallas because they beat Colorado. You're damn right there's pressure on Dallas. They're a team that's supposed to make it further. They're saying there's no pressure on Washington because Ovechkin got his record. I've seen that going around. Washington, that the season's going to be considered an epic fail if you lose in the second round in 5 games, which I think is going to happen. Wow. So I do think for Florida, losing to the Toronto Maple Leafs, the biggest choke artist since '67, is a disaster. I think for Toronto, if you lose in the second round to Florida, I don't care who it is, it's a disaster. Both of these teams have a lot of pressure on them. I think both teams have a lot of pressure. Now, you could argue Florida, the players have handled pressure in the past better than Toronto, which I would agree to that. And this does bring me to the point, is Austin Matthews feeling the heat? Is the kitchen too hot for him in the playoffs?
Too much hot sauce.
Because I look at Matthews, and I'm going to bring his stats up here for you boys. And I don't love what he's been doing. Funny enough, he's getting shots on net.
But he also misses the net a lot.
But he misses the net a lot.
And his shots are deadly.
Which is a huge problem. Dan, your mic's kind of buzzing again, bud.
Well, I don't know what to tell you.
Well, I'm going to mute him for a second while he unplugs his mic from his computer and plugs it back in. But I'm looking at Austin Matthews here, and he doesn't have a goal since May 1st against Ottawa. Mind you, it was a big goal, power play goal that really put the Leafs back going again. And he's getting minutes, and as Lane pointed out, he's getting shots, but he's missing the net way too much.
Yeah. And even the shots he gets are like, I would argue a lot of them aren't dangerous shots. Like, again, we went back, in my rant the other night, like, he had a shot in the slot one-timer, and that's a shot that he was like bubbling the puck. He was trying to get it on his stick and playing with it, and then he finally, after like 6 seconds, finally got it off, and it barely got any power on it. Like, this is not the same Austin Matthews that I said I saw before. Like, I don't see a dangerous Austin Matthews shot in a long time.
Actually, I think Shades makes a great point on shy shots. Well, I even think back to, funny enough, a game they won in game 2. It was a 3-on-2, a very little time left in the second period. And Matthews got set up for a one-timer, and he missed the net. Like, he just doesn't look confident right now. And I don't know if he needs to just simplify his game, get into the dirty areas, and maybe that's what he needs to do. I know they're talking about that on another sports podcast, and maybe that's something that Matthews has to do more, is just get into the dirty areas.
That's a good point.
He needs to be a dirty boy.
And just find a way to score goals. Look at Zach Hyman or Evander Kane, right?
I think he's hurt, Shades.
Shades, you know what? I'm not saying you're wrong. He might be hurt. But at this point, I'm sorry. I don't care. You look like Nazem Kadri helped Colorado win the Stanley Cup. He couldn't even tie his own skates and managed to play at a very high level.
Look at Sidney Crosby and the Four Nations couldn't even put on his own jersey.
And he managed to be effective. So I think more of Austin Matthews, he's just got to hit the damn net. Yeah. And Shades, when you mentioned you just going through the motions, I was watching this thing. It was comparing body language of Marner and Matthews. I don't think we should drug him. Shades, I don't know if shooting him up with steroids is the right way.
Oh, I agree with that. For it. Just like I said with the baseball, let's let them do the steroids. Let them Barry Bonds it. Why not?
But it was really interesting, boys. I wish I put it in the group chat, but then my phone overheated and turned off. But it was comparing body language, and they said Matthews and Marner's body language looks so nervous and exhausted, where Nylander's body language looks ready to go, and they said Tavares's body language just doesn't change. Like, he doesn't seem more amped up for a playoff game compared to game 36 of the regular season. Right. Which I think is pretty accurate of explaining those guys. Like, you look at William Nylander, even the games where he hasn't been he's not putting up the same amount of points, he's still been very effective, right? Like, he's finding ways to impact the game. Where I don't find Matthews and Marner are impacting the game as much. Truthfully, on that top line, I don't know if you boys will agree or disagree. I would argue Matthew Nyes has been the best player on that top line between Marner, Matthews, and
100%.
Marner, Matthews, and Nyes. And it's funny enough, and I guarantee you if I look up Matthew Nyes' stats, they won't be as extravagant. Matthews, 10 points in 10 games. So again, he'd be on pace for 82 points in the regular season. He would have been on pace for 100 if he played 82. Like, I don't like to see the point production dropping this much. And I get it's playoffs. But at the same time, like, we look, Matthew Nyes, 7 points in 10 games. And, Matthew Nyes, he's just seems to be able to do more.
Yeah.
Austin and Marner.
Well, the thing with Nyes.
Now, see, I could see Marner going to Vegas. Funny enough, Vegas loves to make these big splashes. I could see them, if they get eliminated to the Oilers tonight, which we're going to go over our picks that in a minute. Don't even right, guys. We've been taking a lot more time on the Leafs game, because I think this Leafs game is just a bigger game.
Oh, yeah,
but
for sure.
I don't see Matthews you're stuck with. There's nothing you can do. You have paid him a boatload of money and have given him a no move and have given him the keys to the city.
Just ask Gary Bettman and put another franchise in Arizona. Matthews would be happy to leave.
I like your theory on Vegas. Add Chicago to the list. So Chicago, Vegas.
I really could see, yeah. But what I am curious about here, I'm going to do some mathematical equations.
Even Shade says the Leafs have to win.
Oh, it's 100%.
Yeah. That's why we're in Maple Leaf playoffs, sir. They got to get it done.
If the Leafs lose tonight, it's over. It's 100%.
No.
Over. I mean, probably.
Yeah.
I
There's
say
no way you're going to go
70-30.
down 3-2 in Florida. You're not going down 3-2 in Florida and coming back. They're not going to let that happen.
But just to bring into perspective, we're going to talk about Matthew Nyes. He'd be on pace for 59 points currently if it was a full 82 game span in the playoffs. He had 58 points in 70. He had 58 points in 78 games. So in theory, he's elevated his game slightly.
Exactly.
Or at least is playing to the level he was playing at before.
Right.
And Shades, realistically, if Toronto loses this one, then they got to win 2 in a row, which both teams have done that in this series, but no one's won on the road yet. So that is a very tall task, but I'm not counting either team out if they lose tonight. I'm really not. I think that the games where the Leafs haven't played as well as they could, they've been in the games. Oh, right? I think that's a big thing. Florida, I feel game 4 played the best they're going to play. And the Leafs were still right there while having their top line not do anything again.
Right, yeah. With their backup goalie.
With their backup goalie and stealing the show. So I'm not counting the series out if the Leafs lose. I guess I'm just more optimistic.
I think if the Leafs lose, it's a 70-30 chance.
Shades, if you buy a jersey, Dan really wants a John Tavares captain jersey.
That's from a Sens fan there. That's from one of the number one Sens fans.
Life.
And Shades, Dan said 7 from the beginning. I said
Yeah.
6 from the beginning, and I'm still sticking with 6. I think the Leafs are going to find a way to win it on the road in Florida. That's
Wow.
still my theory, and I'm sticking to it.
Wow, already looking beyond Game 5.
Well, it has to go with 6 minimum, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just
No.
out of curiosity here, I also did the math on William Nylander's point production pace. What would that be worth? The Jean Tavares captain jersey, you can actually find them pretty cheap on Facebook Marketplace for anyone who's looking.
Right.
But
Well, you know what's actually funny? When Tavares first got here, like literally like the day he got there, the next day I went down to the Real Sports. I bought an assistant captain Tavares jersey, and then when he got named the captain, I never changed. I forgot to change it, and now he's an assistant captain, so it kind of worked out.
Yeah, there you go.
But
Get an investment.
to bring up why I usually exclude Nylander in these star players not showing up category. Nylander in 82 games had 84 points. In the playoffs, if it was an 82-game stretch, he is on pace for 123 points.
That's right, yeah.
That is my point, right? I expect these star players to step up, which is why I've never really been putting Nylander in that same conversation. Because I'm like, well, every playoffs, he does something big. He has goals in every elimination game but one over the last 4 years. He is being a difference maker for this team. If it just makes me frustrated because I'm like, can you imagine if Matthews, Tavares, and Marner stepped up the way Willie Nylander does in the playoffs? This team would be unstoppable.
Well, what really fascinates me is looking at last year in that series, it was Nylander that told Marner to stop crying and told Matthews stop throwing his stick around. Like, Nylander just gets it. He's very chilled, very laid back. And people are like, oh, he doesn't take it serious. No, that's not it. He does take it serious. He just doesn't want to get so anxious that he screws up.
And, I think, too, the Shades is adding on to your point there more for, he calls out the others when they aren't shooting or looking. And, yeah, I do agree with you there.
100%.
I've seen him getting really mad at Marner when he's trying to make the 15th pass when it's just not available, right?
Yeah.
So, truthfully, this is the game. If the Leafs are down, you may see Nylander start getting double shifted, playing on the first and the second line. You might see it go Nylander line, third line, back to the top line of Nylander, and bumping that way. Because straight up, you have to get something going. And if that top line isn't rocking again, then maybe you put a line together when it's Matthews, Nyes, Nylander. And I'm not putting Marner in that group right now. Because in this series, Marner has not been effective. And a part of it has been as this series has gotten more and more physical. Marner just can't seem to answer the bell. And Dan, I know you're going to say, but Nick Robertson is small. But with Nick Robertson, I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never going to keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. Yeah, you're never going to keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. Hey, you're never going to keep me down. Mitch Marner's down. And then he cries again, and he goes back to the bench.
I was going to say, do you think Marner's affected by a high hit?
Oh, I don't care.
Well, he could be.
Are we looking at a Four Nations effect?
Yeah, but if you're saying a Four Nations effect, then why did Jordan Binnington play as well as he did? There's plenty of Four Nation guys who are playing at a very high level right now.
Look at Nico Rantanen. He was at Four Nations.
Yeah, Nico Rantanen is arguably the best player in the playoffs at the moment.
William Nylander was at Four Nations.
William Nylander was at Four Nations.
Connor McDavid playing well.
Connor McDavid was at Four Nations. Nathan McKinnon, he was there. He got eliminated, but still,
he's already on his. McDavid's already on a different frequency, so.
Yeah.
So let's actually quickly get into that Oilers game, and then we'll go over our actual predictions for tonight. Do you guys see Edmonton wrapping this series up tonight?
Oh, yeah.
We have a chance.
And Shades is basically telling Dan to go away because he says, nah, Marner's good, B. I agree with you, Shades. I honestly don't think Marner's hurt. I think
I'm just playing it out there.
But I think every time I keep saying Vegas is going to do something, they haven't done anything. I haven't heard anything about Vegas making any drastic line changes. I'll be honest too. I don't know why Adin Hill's been in net this whole series. I'm not saying he's the problem, but he's not the solution.
Yeah, but I don't know, putting Samson off in is the right idea.
Why not? Like
What if you got to
seriously,
lose?
They get done in Toronto.
you're okay, Dan. That game against Boston, he let in 2 goals.
Okay,
Toronto
that's too
scored
many.
1. They scored 1.
That's
Toronto,
too many.
no, Dan, you're an idiot. The way you pay your team, you can't expect.
Well, that's not very nice on the island.
I
Boo.
don't have to be nice to you.
We're related. I have to be nice to Chazzy and Lane, especially Lane. He's so dashing. He could get me kicked off the
He's
podcast.
dashing.
So. But no, I look at it. Aiden Hill, in my opinion, has sucked. He has not played well. Everyone goes on about Stuart Skinner. Aiden Hill is putting up comparable numbers to Skinner.
Yeah.
Except Stuart Skinner at least has a shutout in that. Like,
It's laughable.
and what I don't get is, it's not like, okay, when people say about Connor Hellebuck, about what you do with him or hella fraud or whatever. And yeah, I honestly hope Edmonton wins this series tonight and they can just get their rest to get ready to play Dallas, because Winnipeg's not coming back in that series. Although if any
He's
team
in
was gonna
Vegas
come back-
mode the game,
if
right?
any team was going to come back from 3 games to 1, it's Winnipeg, because they are the best team that could do it. Like, you look at the way they're built, but Edmonton's want to get out of this series as quickly as possible. But what I'm saying is, when you compare, Connor Hellebuck is the best goalie in the NHL. It's like when I joked about scratching Austin Matthews. You're not going to scratch Austin Matthews, because when he is on, he's the best goal scorer in the NHL. Funny enough, a lot of the big goal scorers have been quiet. Look at Leon Draisaitl too. He's been quiet goal scoring. He has 4 this play. So I'm going the last 2 or 3. But Aiden Hill is a mediocre starting goalie. If this was the conversation in Leafland, if let's say Anthony Stolarz through 10 games had a 315 goals against average and an 876 save percentage, everyone would be screaming to put in Wool.
Right, of course.
Right? So, again, when you're looking at, I would call adequate starting goalies. They're not superior. They're not great. And yeah, I do agree. Skinner's playing level was leaps and bounds ahead of the last game he played in. But funny enough, though, Stuart Skinner has that history in the playoffs. Even when he plays bad, he's able to find his game again, and it really helped Edmonton Pickard going 6-0.
Yeah,
Skinner that time
Sure.
to get reset. But
Playoff Bob just hit the ice, boys.
who hit the ice?
They just pre-game warm up.
Oh, how did the time fly so quickly? But then I am going to finish my
Right,
thought.
when you're having fun.
That is true.
that's right, 100%. You're on the island.
But
What's time on the island?
I still feel if it was me, I honestly would put in Samsonov in net if I was Vegas. I think you got to try something. You're down 3 games to 1. You got to make a change. Samsonov has been a type of goaltender that he can find a way to make a big save when you need it, even in a game where he gets lit up for 4 goals. He'll make that one big save. Aiden Hill is not making that big save. But now, who's winning the Leafs versus Panthers tonight? We'll quickly go around the 4 squares. I'm going to take the Toronto Maple Leafs winning this game in regulation. This game's not going to need overtime. Line changes are going to make a difference. Lane, Leafs or Panthers?
I think it has to be the Leafs. Whether or not I think they'll win, I think they at least have to win. So I'm going to say Leafs, because if they lose, they're done. So I'm going to say Leafs.
Okay, Chazzy, I'm assuming you're taking the Panthers.
I can feel Lane's nervous.
Oh, you boys wait till post game, because if they lose, they're gonna have another legendary rant coming.
I
It's gonna
can
be
hear it
boiling
in your
up.
voice.
Oh, it's gonna be boiling on the spot like a boiled soup, a slow burn.
Well, I wish
coming.
you guys luck. I just think you poked the bear. Panthers come out. I don't think they'll take any foolish penalties. I'll be surprised if they do. Prove me wrong. But
Chazzy, I've been around a lot of Bears, and they're actually not that violent, so I think the Leafs are fine.
Oh, yes, that's right. Since like Louis days.
More for your money. Who are you taking? Are you siding with the Devil and Chazzy and going against a Canadian team? Or are you taking the Leafs?
Go Leafs, go, baby. I think Alex and Watson is going to bring in some good luck at the tailgates down there. These streakers family, the island is expanding to the tailgate party.
And also, you're talking about poking the bear. We'll get into it on the pre-recorded show. The Panthers owner, never mind poke the bear, he tried shooting the bear and missed 6 times. So I think Toronto was just as amped up as Florida is. It's kind of like that 4 nations. You're doing it for your country. That's, I think, what he just did. But
was he even advanced for fans for cheering USA?
They did that while a Canadian scored, and the goal was assisted by a Canadian.
I know.
Anyways, who's taking it between Edmonton and Vegas? I
I'm giving up on Vegas. Edmonton's winning this. I keep saying Vegas is going to find a gear. Well, I think the transmission just blew up. They lost first, second, third, and reverse.
Wow.
And it's a 3-speed manual. That's screw fourth gear. Edmonton's going to slaughter them. Aiden Hill's going to be in there. He's going to get lit up for 5.
Whoa.
Lane
Dashing Dasco.
Who do you take?
I'm with you. I think the Oilers are going to punch their ticket into the third round. And funny enough, the Leafs are the only team again here in the second round that can't punch their ticket in the game 5. Everybody else has the ability to win in game 5.
Yeah.
Okay, but the Leafs have had the hardest opponent out of
talking
anyone.
about
Washington.
Exactly.
No, I know,
But
but still.
Washington's been a joke, and Vegas has been a joke.
What about Winnipeg? I think Winnipeg's not an easy component.
Winnipeg forgot they need to show up on the road. Chazzy, who are you taking? Edmonton or are you taking Vegas tonight?
Oh, the Oilers.
More for?
Well, it's always boring TV, but I'm going to Oilers too. I think the only thing I can see hurting them is that the game's in Vegas. But in order to win the series, especially Edmonton not having home ice, you got to win on the road. So we better win in game 5 than game 7.
Also, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, so the Vegas Golden Knights can't go back to Edmonton. They have to stay in Vegas. So,
but anyways, boys, I think it's time we sign off to catch the hockey games. If you guys are feeling like it, I think maybe we'll do a post game tonight too before a pre-record. We'll be up to
I was just going to ask that. We should go live post game too, 100%.
There you go. You know what? This is how transparent we are on the island. We didn't put this in the group chat.
Nope.
I just figured I'd just ask us while we're all live on the air.
I was going to ask if you didn't.
To hold us to it, that we will be doing our post-game show. But thank you very much, everyone, for watching the Streakers Island podcast and playing along in the Streakers app. Keep locked in on that app, by the way. More changes are coming, more updates. It's going to be amazing. Chazzy needs to make 8,000 hats because everywhere I go wearing one of those hats, people ask me where I got it. They all love those hats. So 8,000 hats, Chazzy. I don't know. Pull them out of your hamster cage that I'm assuming you own, even though you don't have a hamster, and get rocking and rolling.
I don't think Bear's sitting in a hamster cage.
Follow us on all the
game.
social medias, every single freaking one, or else you're grounded for a week, and all you can do is be on the Streakers app that whole week. That's all you can do. But we will see you around midnight.
Bye-bye.